All right, welcome in everybody. Today is special because I get to interview my brother and my business partner, Zach. Zachary Sakurada, how are you doing, sir?
I am doing pretty great this morning.
Good, good. So we filmed this Saturday morning. Zach is usually in bed until like 11 o'clock on Saturdays. Isn't that right?
Well, to be fair, I work under a general contractor as well, and I'm up by like 6:30, and some of my days are really long and intensive. So I do like to sleep in, but I will wake up when things are necessary or important, and I thought this was important.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, so we're up at 7 o'clock on a Saturday morning to do this. Who else does that on the
I
weekend?
think I think a lot of people would.
Yeah, 7 o'clock is not that crazy, but
No.
that's funny. So I thought it would be fun to interview my business partner. I have a list of questions for him. He's in a similar situation to me. I'll let him tell you about it. But why don't we start with that, Zach? So tell me why did we even start a business? Why are you partnering with me?
Well, we both kind of had the same thought of, man, I really don't like my job, and there's got to be an easier way to do some things. Um, well, not an easier way, but there's got to be a better way to work and be your own boss and at least try to live the American dream a little bit better. And I remember both of us had talked about it for a while about, man, I should just buy a property or something and just rent it out. And it wasn't until like a year and a half, 2 years ago where we're like, dude, what are we doing? Like, why don't we just do this? And I remember us getting together, like we met in your basement of your house a couple times, just trying to set visions and goals of just trying to get something started up. And yeah, we kind of just decided that we were gonna stop talking about it and being about it, and we kind of pushed forward with it. So it's kind of how everything started. We just talked about it for too long, and then we finally decided to take action on it.
Cool. So with Zach, it was really fun because we bought our first property. It's been a while, but why don't you tell me a little bit about where that came from and and yeah, just how that's going.
Yeah, so we were searching for a minute of a property that we could add value to, as well as get to cash flow. And we were working with some real estate agents, one of which, the one that helped us, Brad Jacobson, he was able to help us out with finding it, acquiring it, and essentially just getting us a pretty good deal on the property. It had quite a bit of work that we needed to do to it. Um, but with my line of work, I've learned a lot of tools and tips, as well as have the resources to help out with flips, remodels, and things like that. So um, yeah, we acquired the property. We got it all fixed up. We turned it into 2 units, and right now we got it renting out.
That's awesome. What do you think was the hardest thing about this rental?
Um, I think for me personally, because I was doing a lot of work on it myself, is when because I'm still working under another person right now, and so especially with my job, with him being a high labor intensive job, some days could just be really physically exhausting, like being up at 6:30 in the morning and then getting home from that job at 4 and then going home and eating dinner and being there from 5 and pulling some days out to like 10 o'clock, 9 or 10 o'clock. Um, that was physically exhausting. I think one of the hardest parts, honestly, um, of just trying to get everything in order, just because, uh, yeah, I was just exhausted a lot of nights, and it was difficult in some of those regards. Um, and with it being the first house as well, I think it just I learned some things that would do again or wouldn't do, or people that I would ask for help from or wouldn't ask for help. Just trying to help things go a little bit more smoothly, but it was definitely a big learning process on the whole thing. Um, but it, uh, yeah, learned a lot, I would say, with this one.
Yeah, that's awesome. Just for context for everybody listening, mom and the few friends that I have, the 5 people that'll tune in. Just for context, um, Zach and I we decided to do a lot of this ourselves. And when I say ourselves, Zach has really been the muscle behind all of this because he has the contracting experience. He's uh, got the drywall. He put up drywall. He painted. He tore down a wall, added another wall. We added a bathroom and or a bedroom rather, and fixed up a bathroom. And I mean, everything that happened was because of Zach. And so he put in a lot of work. I live a little further away, so I tried to come up and help as much as I could. But even with that said, I work a desk job, and I don't necessarily know what I'm doing. So Zach is an essential partner in our partnership. So I mean, he's been the muscle around this stuff. So hope he doesn't sell himself short. He did a really good job. Um, so with all that said, I guess what do you feel like is like your most valuable asset when it comes to being an entrepreneur?
I've actually thought about this a lot. Uh, I've thought about this a lot for like myself as well as for like other people, because the biggest question is like, how can I add value to somebody else? Um, but I've also thought of like, how can I add value to myself? Um, I would say, well, I guess this isn't daddy value. I would say one of my hard things for me is like I'm really good at let's get this straight. I'm really good at talking with people. I feel like I'm very personable and I feel like I could talk with people. But it's like a double-edged sword because at the same time I feel like I put a little, I don't know, I might put a little too much emotion into a sale, and it, I don't know if it clouds judgment when it comes to it, or if it's a little harder um uh for that. But I would say for the entrepreneurial side, I do feel like I am a go-getter. As of right now, I do think I need to pull back from um the line of work that I'm doing and focus a little bit more on us. It makes it a little hard when I'm pulling like this last week I pulled like a 14-hour day, an 11-hour day, and like I think two 10.5-hour days for my boss, and then driving home and not getting home till like 7 o'clock. Like I'm missing RIAs, I'm missing like other like real estate events that I'd like to attend for our own personal growth. So I have the drive, I would say, to go out and do all these things and accomplish these tasks. It's just a matter of I just need a little bit more time for myself. And I think I just need to discipline myself a little bit more about just letting like my boss know or these other people know that saying no is okay. Like, you know what? No, I'm not going to stay a little bit longer today. I actually have things I got to do for myself. Um, I think I feel bad a little bit for like supervisors or things like that that have to stay a little longer, but I don't know. I think I need to understand like, Zach, you're trying to make it too. Like, you have your own business, you have a partner. You need to do yeah, you need to do what you need to do for you guys as well, because in the long run, that's what matters. So I would say that I'm very hardworking. Um, I just need to create this time and space, and I need to put that aside for that. So
That's super interesting that I asked you. what your most valuable asset was, and you mentioned something that you're personable and that you like talking to people, but then you went into things that you can do better. And I think that that's something very similar between me and you, and between all entrepreneurs everywhere, is that we always look at things that we can be doing better. Although we should give ourselves a little bit of grace and know that, hey, we're doing a good job. Recognize that gain versus the gap. That's a book I read by Dan Sullivan. It's really good, called The Gap in the Gain. You always want to be able to see what you have gained over the last little bit instead of measuring yourself against your ideal. And I think that's something that we both can work on a little bit as well. But I think that, yeah, I feel the exact same way when it comes to when it just comes to entrepreneurship. It's like, okay, what can I do better today? What can I do better? What should I be doing better? What should I be doing now? So I think that's really good. But so with that, I guess for people that are watching and people who are thinking about getting into real estate and they have a job, they're very similar to us. What would be your biggest advice to people who are trying to balance, a side hustle like real estate with their W-2 or their current day job?
Yeah, I think that the most important part right now would probably be is do what you can. Um, and then as well, put action to what you're wanting to do. Like I said, with how we were, gosh, we talked about it for so long. Like I remember being up in Logan and I was talking to our younger brother Brian, and we were renting at the time, and I was like, man, we should just buy a house, live in it, and have roommates and have them pay the mortgage on the property. And I talked about it over and over and over again, and like did nothing about it. Didn't make any efforts to try to apply for a loan or reach out to some hard money or even look at a property. I just was talking about it. And so I think one of the biggest things for people that are starting off is if like you just need to do something. Uh Whether it's, man, I'm in a wholesale, I need to call people, or man, I want to do a fix and flip. Like probably need to talk to some wholesalers or look on the MLS for some distressed properties. Um I don't know, whatever it may be, you just gotta stop talking and start doing. And I think that's like the most important thing about, we're not perfect. We made a ton of mistakes and we're still learning. Like we still haven't figured it all out, but we're in there, our boots are in the mud, and we're trying. And I think with that, like, we get credit for trying, and there's going to be a lot of lessons learned as well as progress you made. So
Yep. So I think that as you were talking, it made me think that of the progress that we made, we went and we bought a rental, and when we needed some money to fix up the rental, we went and found somebody to lend us some money to do that, and it's cash flowing now, and it's been a slog, but it's cash flowing now, and we're getting money from it, and that's from our hard work. But that's the key, is it was hard. So I think that that's an important message to give to people too, is that it's not easy. Just like Zach's saying, it's not an easy thing, but it is worth it if you go and do it. But that's the thing, you got to do the thing. You can't just talk about the thing, you got to take the action. And so that's something I appreciate about Zach, is that he's an action taker. We're action takers, and so something comes out of action, and has to be consistent action, not just one day and then give up. Think of it like going to the gym. Anyway, I'm talking a lot. This isn't my interview, this is Zach's interview. So let's see what he does in his spare time. What are some of your hobbies, Zach? So some of the things that keeps you ticking.
yeah, so I would say I'm a pretty big like family and friends oriented. I really enjoy spending time with other people. Um, I am pretty active still. I love playing any kind of sport. Every week I play basketball with some friends, as well as I'm on an indoor soccer league with some friends. So I like to stay very active that way. I would just say I'm very competitive in general. I like games, whether they're video games or board games. I just love winning. And so when it comes to a board game, I always have to be on the winning team or try to win. Whether if I'm playing a video game with some friends, it's always frustrating to lose. Um, with soccer or basketball, I also like to win it. I just like the fact of like if I'm gonna do something, I gotta try to be good at it. And if I'm not good at it, then what am I doing with it? So um I do a lot of that. Um Family wise, I'm not married or anything, but I know Lance has kids. I have another brother that has a kid, as well as my siblings. I love spending time with them. I love going golfing with my dad. Um, uh, yeah, I feel like I live a pretty simple life. I just like to be around the people that I like to be around. So those are basically my interests. Some interests that I'd like to acquire more is I'd like to improve my physical health a little bit better. I've done sports a lot growing up, but I never was like an avid like weightlifter or trainer. So I want to put a little more effort into that um, to try to improve my physical health. I don't think that I'm like obese or necessarily like too bad out of shape, but I think there's room for improvement that I'd like to do. Um, I've never been much of like a good reader, but I do want to start listening to like audiobooks. I work a lot and I listen to music a lot, and I think audiobooks would be um, a great substitute for music because I've done a lot of podcasts as well while I'm working, but I think audiobooks would be a great way to kill two birds with one stone of working as well as educating myself. Um, and yeah, those are just a couple things that I want to work on, but that's pretty much me in a nutshell. I love my family and friends. I would go above and beyond for any of them that ever needed it. Um, and I'm a winner. I love winning. So yeah, that's pretty much about me.
Cool. Cool. So, ladies, he said he's not married yet. That doesn't mean he's not looking to get married. So, I'll make sure I put his Instagram handle in the description, and his DMs are open. So,
They are.
yeah,
They
go.
are.
So, go check him out. So, I guess why don't we wrap this up, Zach? I know this has been a little bit of a quick intro, but tell me, what are some of your goals now? What is next for you?
um, yeah. Some of my goals for me is I want to be able to put a lot more effort, not a little, but a lot more effort into um us and what we can do. Um, it's a little easier for me in this partnership rather than you, I would say, because you have your wife and you have three girls and you're expecting one on the way. But as for me, it's just me. And so I feel like I can take a little bit more risk in these situations. Um, but ultimately, I'd like to make us our full time. I would love to be on a set schedule where it's like, all right, up by 6 a.m., like at the gym, studying, and then just be able to work on us and really just try to progress our business state. So I guess to answer your question is one of my goals right now would be to quit the W-2 and proceed with this full time. And I guess that consists of like a lot of like smaller goals because obviously like that's kind of like the big picture. But I think it's very attainable here in the future. Um, and I'm so close because I know that's something that you also want to do. But I know that it's like so close, and it's just whether it's like one more property that cash flows or um like figuring out a system to either wholesale or put a property in a wrap or find you another property, rent out your current residence or whatever it may be. There's a lot of like lower like a lot of sub goals that would help out with this larger one. I just feel like this larger one is so close and in reach where this one is the goal of like yeah, I'm right there. I can quit my job here soon and pursue this and really try to get this running. Um, and then when the point of that it's running, keep it running. So I think that's my goal. That's what I want to do here in the next little bit. I know that we talked about your birthday's in October, mine's in December, and we really wanted to like really wanted to put effort in to try to get a property for each of our birthdays. I know we have a couple good looks on some, but I think if we were able to do that, I think it would help out with both of us on a scheme of retirement, and not retirement, but retirement from the W-2, and doing it ourselves. So that's my goal right now is cutting back on that and doing more for us.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. Cool. So I guess that is a little bit about my business partner, Zach. He's a stud. And yeah, I couldn't be happier with the gift that God has given me in making him my brother. And so it's really cool. So Zach, is there any last things you want to say before we shut it down?
Um. Yeah. I guess I would say. I hope that I don't know in a year's time or however long it is. I hope we can do another interview and just kind of go back and kind of share with you the things that have been really working for us and kind of show our wins that we've made. Um, yeah, I know that we've probably been business partners for a year and 3/4, 2 years. But it's been it's been a ride. It's been stressful at times, but it's been super fun. It's put me out of my comfort zone a little bit, but I think that's the way to grow. So I'm very appreciative of what you do. I know that you say like I'm the muscle and everything of the group, but I couldn't have done it without your brains. So I won't admit that you're smarter than me, but you have different talents than me that help us out. So
Listen to this guy. It's the competitive dude. You're not smarter than me, but whatever. Whatever. I call him the muscle, but we all know that I can put up way more on the bench than he can. Am I right? Yeah, I'm right. That's right. All right. We're gonna shut it down, but again, that's my brother Zach. Zach, where can people find you? I mean, I'll put your Instagram and whatnot in the description anyway, but why don't you go ahead and tell us?
yeah, so basic social medias I use are just Instagram and Facebook. I probably should utilize TikTok a little bit more, but I don't know. I just haven't got it. Zachary Sakurada is my name. Zachary Dash Sakurada is what I use for my Instagram. Uh, you'll find great pictures of me, family members, friends, and other ventures that I go on. So I generally post things on the story about different real estate things as well as just some days of my personal life. So if you want to come find me, come check me out on there. And yeah, that's where you can find me.
Awesome. I'll stick his information in the description. Uh, again, his DMs are open, not just for the late. Well, I mean, when it comes to the dating, probably just for the ladies. But if you want to do
100% just for the
business,
ladies.
if you want to do business with us, Zach's DMs are open. My DMs are open. We're always looking to do deals. So come check us out. Otherwise, thanks everyone. Peace.